Hi, and welcome to On the Ride 25. This is our third show. I'm Domonic.
And I'm Scott.
And we have a guest here. This is Holly Breck
Hello.
from Legion of Los Angeles. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to our pod. So we're going to go do a few things. We're going to talk about some racing, maybe some Dom story time, and then we're going to go into talk about Holly. So she's here in the beginning just to kind of be a little passenger and add a few things in. So what do we call your podcast?
Comments from the unqualified.
It fits in perfect because it's crazy how bad he is. But here we go, Scott. You're on.
All right, here we go. Jump in anytime, you guys. If you saw these races and you got anything to add, and I'll have a couple of questions for you at the end. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about the three big monuments so far that have happened this year. We'll take you all the way back to Milan San Remo, 289 kilometers, 180 miles. Big two climbs here in this race: the Cipressa and the Poggio. These are what we talked about in our previous podcast. These were going to be the points of contention and the points of excitement.
6 hours of racing and 30 minutes of excitement.
Yeah, that pretty much covers it. So right off the bat, the hitters in this race are Mads Pedersen, Filippo Ganna, MVPD, and Prince Pogačar, or Pogača.
Would you please pronounce the name?
Tadej Pogača.
Okay.
Tadej Pogača. Got plenty of flack for that one on the previous podcast for mispronunciation. So right off the bat, this race starts out and it is wet and sloppy. So you got to believe at the starting line, half those guys are already out. They don't want to be there. They know they got no place in it, and they're just dreading a big, long day on the bike. We get down into the flats, and just when you think it's going to be a two-man show to the line, Ganna shows up again. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, he comes up, and you think, oh, we're going to have a third player here in the sprint, but it wasn't to be. Coming in hot and fast, MVPD lights it up, and he takes the win, and Pogačar runs in for third place. Ganna gets him right in the end.
He does.
Yeah.
And it was a 300 meter sprint, which is pretty far.
That's
full speed.
Really far.
I can't.
That's a roadie sprint, not a pure sprint.
Yeah, and he's a strong guy. So it was, again, like I said, this is the most exciting 30 minutes of racing. So if you missed it, go back and watch 30 minutes.
Last 30 minutes will get you there.
It's exciting. So we'll go on. Scott,
all right. Next. So next up, it's Tour of Flanders or Ron van Vlaanderen. Tried.
You can say that, but you can't pronounce Tadej.
Yeah, can't say Tadej Pogačar to save my life, but I can get some of the Dutch words out or the Belgian words. Anyways, this one, 270K, 170 miles, hills, and more hills. At 16K, the final run of the Old Quaremont, Pogačar goes full afterburner, and it's over. MVPD, he blows a gasket. The radiator hose pops, and he's out of gas, and he gets dropped. But he hangs on and comes in with the second group, but they're all pretty much demoralized. It's Pogačar for the win on that one. Paris-Roubaix.
Let's keep it rolling.
All right, keep it rolling. All right. So Paris-Roubaix, this one's about 260K. At 82K left to go, Pogačar, he's signaling for the team car, and he's frantic about it. Something's not right, either with him or with his bike, and nobody can figure it out. He's waving like his hand's on fire. And finally, the Shimano car gets there, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? I don't want anything from you. You have nothing to offer me. And then finally, his team car gets there, and they hand Pogačar a special drink. And
this is ketones, of course.
Ketones. Yes, a special drink of ketones, which made all the difference. But there was a moment of absolute sheer panic as his team car goes past him. Taddy clips his left pedal on the rear tires of the car as it goes by, and you can hear it on TV. It's a loud bang and a click, and for a second, Pogačar, he swings left and right violently, and you're thinking, oh, it's over. But he holds it up, and he gets right back in the race, and seemingly everything's okay.
And then we get to what's happening. What I noticed at this point is that right after this, the big guys all got together and said, it's time to race.
It's time to race. So
and by that time, they basically broke into the big guys versus everyone else chasing.
It's pretty much down at this point. Who's gonna flat out or have a mechanical and who's not, and that's pretty much kind of how it goes. We're getting down into the final sectors, and we're coming in hot with the tailwind. Pogacar comes in, overcooks the right-hand turn, ends up in the grass, goes down, not hard, soft grass landing, but it was enough to knock his chain off, and that was the point where Matthew Van Der Poel says, it's over. Good night, kids. You're done, and I'm going. And he takes it all the way.
He only lost like 15, 20 seconds, and he was able to kind of get it close to that, but Matthew was too strong.
Just too strong over the final sections. Matthew Van Der Poel did also have a flat in the final sections, but his team car was right there with an F1 style tire change.
It was so fast.
It was actually a bike change, but it was lightning fast. As soon as he was off the bike, his team car was there with the spare bike. So pretty awesome. 3 times now in a row for Paris-Roubaix for Matthew Van Der Poel.
So it comes down to we have basically 2 guys that can win classics, it seems like.
That's what it seems like to me. Now, I got a couple of questions for both you guys. Chime in with whatever you think here. Mm-hmm. So, where's Tom Pidcock in all this? He's not even racing. He's not even racing these races.
I think can't make that power. That's my opinion. What do you think, Holly? Why? I mean, he has the bike handling skills there, but why would he not be there?
But I also think that he does have the grit and everything to be there. He's a little fighter for sure. He's small but mighty, even though he's doesn't necessarily have the strength of Matthew. I think he's more so focused on later on races, which makes sense, especially for someone of his caliber and what he really wants to focus on, which is the tour and things like that. So these earlier iconic races are maybe not his style that he's completely focusing on, but
okay,
I think he's got better things down the road.
Because their team got invited to the Vuelta,
yeah, and
the Giro,
Okay, so knowing him, he's going to want to take those things.
Okay,
all right. Well, let's keep an eye out for him.
We'll see.
Let's hopefully he shows up. Second question, Mads Pedersen. This guy right now is in the shape of his life, and seemingly he can't buy a win. I mean, he's up against Matthew Van Der Poel and Tadej Pogacar, and
I mean, he just had real shit luck on that last race, though.
He did.
He was there, he was moving. It was him, and Jasper was also up there as well for a bit, and then Tadej just blew him out of the group. But Pedersen, I mean, he's definitely one of the hitters for sure. Sometimes you make your own luck, and sometimes you get real bad luck, and that was just super unfortunate at that time.
Well, no doubt, bad luck on his part. Got a few more questions in here. Where's Wout van Aert this time of year? I mean, I've said it. I've talked shit on the guy. He's a no-show.
His crash, though. His crash from the tour definitely has taken him out.
Yeah.
I think people didn't think it was as gnarly as it was, but he broke his kneecap and everything. So trying to come back from that is just hats off to the guy for even trying still at this point.
So do you think he'll never be the same, or do you think he's still working on his fitness?
No, he'll come around.
I thought he showed an amazing amount of fight. He got 4th.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, you think he sucks, and he's
I don't think he sucks, but I'm quick to write off.
You are,
guys.
and I'm saying
one bad season and they're done.
It wasn't a bad season. He got 4th in one of the hardest races of the year. So and he kept fighting. So I got to give him credit.
I'll give him credit, but this guy's a perennial podium in this time of year.
Okay.
And if not him, somebody else on his team.
Okay.
But yeah, some years you're going to have great years, and then other years you're going to have it's highs and lows all the time.
Yeah.
We're human. They're human.
Yeah. All right. One more question for both of you guys. Jonas Vingegaard sitting at home. What's he thinking? He sees Tadej Pogacar out there doing one of the hardest one-day races.
I think he's
finishing Paris-Roubaix second on his first attempt.
Yeah.
Is he panic? Is he in full panic mode?
No, probably not yet.
Not yet?
I agree. I don't think he cares. I think he's watching it like everybody else. Well, that's interesting. He cares about one thing.
Winning
the Grand Tour. That's it. He's that one-trick pony. It's a darn good trick, though. I mean, if you're going to have
a hell of a trick.
If you're going to do a trick, that's a good one.
All right.
Yeah.
And final question, kind of a two-parter. Is pro racing just getting boring and predictable right now with the players that are in it, or are we just watching greatness in real time and can't appreciate it?
Wow. That's a loaded question, not a double question. I don't know. I mean, I think the racing's pretty good. It's predictable at the moment, but I definitely do think that there's some up and coming people that are going to make it interesting this season for sure.
And it's like, to me, it's like when you see like the Lakers at their peak, and you see these riders at their peak. It's an exciting thing to see when think of the days when Cipollini was winning all the sprints. It was everyone was exciting, and when Lance was winning his tours. Okay, we'll say Lance won his tours.
We'll have that podcast.
We'll have that one. That's coming up soon.
Yeah.
It was always exciting because you want the dynasties are exciting, and I think I like it. When you see guys that are so strong and rewriting the record books, it's an exciting thing to see in sports, in my opinion.
Yeah, and teams will have their highs and they will have their lows, and riders will have the same. So you got to just ride the wave as long as you can and win as many races as you can, because it's not going to last forever.
Or very long, more often than not.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Look at Sagan. He was there and then he wasn't.
Yeah, in like a lion, out like a lamb. Sure, but I think you guys are onto something there. I think a rising tide raises all boats, right? So
correct, yeah.
The tide is high right now, and everybody's got to ride, kind of come up to that level, that watermark. All right. That's it for comments from the unqualified.
That's very unqualified, but at least it was semi-entertaining. So,
yeah.
And I'm going to do a quick story time because I like story time, and if you listen to my last podcast, I talked about how I was maybe not the nicest guy trying to drop this guy on a recumbent. So I'm going to talk about a very similar story happened to me just last week. I'm riding off to the bagel ride, going up the same road. There's that little rise on baseline. If you guys don't know, it's what a half-mile long climb at like 4%. So it's not really difficult, but it's a little push.
It's a stinger.
Yeah. So I went by these two guys. This one guy was a beautiful brand new map kit, map everything.
Yeah.
Map socks, map everything. Brand new bike, brand new shoes. And I came by, I said hi to him, and I'm going up the hill, and I'm just cruising, getting ready for the ride, and all of a sudden I can hear him coming. You could hear the guy full breath, just coming at me, just full, comes by me, and I see him, and he's a very big guy, but muscular dude. He's obviously not a cyclist.
Yeah.
And he comes by me, probably like 10 watts more than I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I just jump on his wheel at this point. I'm going to follow him, see what he's got at this point. So I follow him to the top, and I don't go by him. I just like.
You're sitting on his wheel.
I'm just sitting on his wheel. I want to see this guy. I was trying to be. I was nice to him when he went by. And by the way, he dropped his friend. He didn't even care about his friend. His friend's long gone.
Aw.
And then he gets to the top of the hill. He is like full, like dying.
Maybe he had intervals to do.
I don't think so, because he literally could not even pedal down the descent. He was like, he wanted to show me.
Yeah, I've done that before too, trying to do an interval though. You're just dead. You let gravity take you.
I would think he's just trying to show me what he had, honestly. And the funny thing is that I did the same thing, and my last podcast talked about how I did it. And it's fun to see it being done to me, that this guy was really want to show me that he could ride up the hill. And instead of saying, I said hi to him, instead of saying hi to me, he just challenged me up the hill. So again, guys, let's be nice, say hi. You want to go hard, let's go hard. But it's kind of fun, and it's a little funny story. But let's get down to what we're all here for. Here we go. Holly Breck, Legion of Los Angeles, one more time. But I want to get into one thing first. The freaking amazing win she pulled off. It is like, come on, guys. This is like one of the biggest races in the United States. Holly comes up with the goods. So tell us about this race.
Oh, man. Well, Redlands in general, for those who don't know, it's a 5-day stage race. This year started with a time trial. Second stage was up Onyx. Third stage was a brand new stage. Yeah, just literally a hilly up-down circuit that you did laps on. The downtown criterium was stage 4, and then stage 5 was the iconic sunset. But yeah, all the racing was really hard, really hilly, and it was just a matter of surviving each day. But then come day 5, somehow, some way the stars aligned, and I, A, made it to the circuits, which I have never done in my life, and then B, pulled off an incredible win that I still can't believe I won.
That's amazing. Now, how were you feeling in the morning? Because this is now 4 days into it. Did you feel good in the morning? So I got some good legs, or how did that?
Honestly, no. Like, we had some unfortunate stuff happen in the crit, so I was really upset kind of how our crit race went, because obviously being a crit team, you really want to just kind of show off what you can do. And we rode well, but just didn't quite have it there in the end. I mean, 3 days of climbing before that was definitely taxing on everybody's legs, especially our sprinters. So it was a bit of a bummed out crit day. But so the next day we were just kind of like, we'll make it as far as we can and see what happens. And I just remember our director, Maddie, just saying, you just got to fight. You just got to follow. And so that's all I could do was follow. And all the laps went by and I was like, oh man, I made the final selection. Like I've made it. I was like, now I just got to recover and see how I can do in the crit. Like I know where I need to go. We just got to recover and see what happens. And it just came alive. Sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't. And something that day I just had it.
So you're sprinting. I mean, we've seen the sprint and we'll send some pictures of it on the podcast coming up, but you cleared the field by a lot. So, I mean, that was an amazing sprint. When you knew you were going to win, when did you know? Like, how did it feel? Like, did it all of a sudden come across?
I didn't know, which was the craziest thing. So when I jumped, we had talked about it during the crit, like where we kind of needed to go and things like that. And I mean, Fount was the other team that was there that had been dominating the whole entire time, and they were leading it out. And I was like, all right, well, I just got to go and hold on because the next section is like a little chicane before the finish. And it's really hard to pass through there. So if you can whack it hard enough to where you can get past them, like sometimes you can have a gap. And so I whacked it, but I wasn't sure like how hard or like what the gap was or if someone jumped with me. So it was pure panic. So I made it through those turns and I just kept my head down and I kept going. And then all of a sudden I hear Brad say that I got it. And I like looked up and back and there was nobody there. And so I had created that gap through those chicanes because I guess I got through there faster. So I was like, I honestly was in just disbelief and shock that it worked. So, yeah, it's still pretty crazy.
Awesome move to jump them early, jump the train. That's a great move. They, like I said, they had been riding strong and they had been handling us day in and day out. So it was kind of a nice little cherry on the top there. That's so awesome. It was so awesome. Well, first of all, let's start. How did you start? How did this all start? Now, I mean, I know your story a little bit, but it's been a lot of years. So how long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, I started racing in 2012, where someone by the name of Dom had a team at the time called SC Velo N-Cycle and was looking for some elite riders at that time. So I sent in my resume, and that's where early all started. And
you were a Cat 3 at the time, I think.
I had just turned a 2.
Were you 2 then?
Because you guys were an elite team, so I had to be a 2.
You had to upgrade, that's right.
Yeah. So I just turned a 2 that year, and that was like my first quote-unquote elite season.
And then we built the team, the Empowered.
Yeah, Empowered. SC Velo Empowered, whatever it was called at the time. Yeah, the coaching business, that is no longer around, I think.
But it was a fantastic team.
I mean, we had amazing people on that team. We had Dotsie Bausch, we had PC, we had Bonnie Breeze, we had Tammy Wildgoose, we had the hitters of SoCal on that team.
It was a super fun team, and we had the fun thing about it is that we had a really good competitive team too. We had an enemy to go with our.
And we had Team Helens at the time with Suzanne Sonia and I think Emily was on that team too. Shelby Reynolds was on that one as well. I mean, it was it was insanely hard. Like that was the year of learning lead outs. That was the year of learning like how to bump and where to be, and like it was the craziest learning year of my life for sure.
Yeah, it was fun. And wait, we have to tell a story. How many times did you quit the team before we actually stuck to this?
It was 2013, 2014, and 2015. I quit on you every single year. At
the end of every year, she'd tell us, "I'm done with this. My mom wants me to do school or wants me to change my profession." And the last 2 years, Lee was, the co-owner of the team with me, and we would get a bike for you anyway. We're like,
just in case.
Just in case you want to do this, we have something. We're set up for you. And as soon as the training started happening, she's like, get the phone call or the text first. And then I wouldn't answer the text, and I'd make her call me, and then she would join the team, and it's been great. And you've been on. I mean, I'm trying to count the teams. So can you give us a rundown of some of your teams you've been on? Yeah.
I mean, I went from you, and then it turned into Go Fast. So I rode for them for a season. And then from there, I went to at the time it was called 2020, which is now 2028. So I rode for Nikola for 2 years. Then I went to Silence Pro Cycling after that. That was
pretty
a
amazing
massive
thing.
jump. Yeah. Definitely wasn't ready for that jump, but I took the opportunity for that one.
It was an interesting thing because they were sponsoring our local team, and they also had that's when we had Justin and a lot of the guys that are some of the Legion teams. Kind of funny. It's kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
And then they needed someone to go to fill the roster, and they wanted an American to go to Europe, and they even asked me about you, and I'm like, sure.
Maybe.
I'm like,
yeah, because Ali Tetrick was retiring that year, so they needed to fill her spot to continue to be an American team.
Right, correct.
And here's me, like fresh out of the water, not knowing anything. And I remember going to Interbike and basically shaking Omar's hand in a Lesign booth and being like, "Yeah, you got the spot." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's one way to do it."
There you go. Pro Tour. It was called Pro Tour then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Pro Tour. Yeah. So yeah, that season we did Tour Down Under, we did Cadell's Tour, and there was a couple others that we did in Australia, and then we went and did all the spring classics that season. Newsblood, Flanders, Paris-Roubaix. It was
China. You did
nuts.
China?
Raced in China. Yeah.
You got to see the world.
Literally got to see the world, and it was it's been amazing ever since then. But
and then you went. Where'd you go after that?
After Silence, I didn't have anything, so I came back to go fast for a season, and then COVID happened, which I was supposed to go to Torelli in England, and then I got signed with Rowley for 21, so spent a season with them and kind of did the same things. Spent half my season here and half my season in Europe, and then 22 I was with Torelli in England. 23 and 24 I was with DNA Pro Cycling, and now 25 with Legion of Los Angeles.
That's pretty. That's a pretty good resume.
Yeah,
that's a nice little.
It's not bad. Not bad.
And you're only what, 28 years old?
I wish. No, turning 33 next month. So
it's amazing. The time just goes by like that.
Yeah.
I got one for you. What's a standard week of training and your week? Because you still work a little bit. So
yeah.
So what's for Holly like? Give us a week of what a week is like for you.
A week.
Standard week.
Holly. Standard week. So normally I'm working two or 3 days a week at in cycle still. So thankfully in the afternoon, so I can still train in the mornings. But normally, it's anywhere from 20 to 27 hours a week of riding. It really just depends on kind of what we're getting ready for. Monday and Fridays are normally the easy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are all intervals, minimum of 3 to 4 hours. And then weekends are heavy loaded, so like 5 to 6, 6 to 7 sometimes. Just depends on kind of what we're trying to get prepared for. So like getting ready for Redlands, we did 3 weeks of like build-up weeks, so 24, 27, and 30-hour weeks. Then we had a rest week, and then we went into Indy when we had team camp. So kind of tired there, but that's okay. We kind of had more media stuff and things like that to do. And but yeah, it just really depends on kind of what we're getting prepared for. So most of the stuff now will just be kind of crit racing and things like that. So it'll be 20 to 22 hours, more shorter intervals.
Are you pretty careful on what you eat? Do you have times that you like have an extra beer or two during a certain time of the year? And how does that work for you?
So no drinking during the week, but I'll have drinks on the weekend. And normally it's only like 1 to 2, either a beer or a glass of wine. But I seriously eat like a child. Like on the bike, it's gummy bears, Cokes.
The same?
Oh yeah, so good. Like you got to get the red 40. That's the only thing that like gets you going for intervals and keeps you going. But no, most of the stuff on my bike is going to be a first endurance item or thing. Their high carb mix is really good. Their recovery is really good. And they have a pre-race that'll get you fired up in an instant. So, but
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's keep our sponsors happy. Yours especially. Tell us about your equipment. I know you got the Factor, which is a really good-looking bike, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that bike it's really rad. Not only because I have it, and because it looks cool, but I've I've been fortunate enough to ride a lot of different bikes, and the Factor is definitely one of the ones that's up there for sure. It's just a well-balanced bike for me. It sprints well, it turns well, it accelerates well, it climbs well. It's supposed to be more of like an all-aero bike. And it's like a one-all do-all. Like, it's just comfortable. And plus the paint that they have on it is so cool.
It does look really nice.
Yeah, just black with all the trains and everything, which is funny because I've never ridden any of the trains or anything around here. I think I've been to downtown LA one time, but that was about it.
And what about wheels, tires? Give us your whole list. Come on.
The whole list of everything. So Factors for bikes. We've got Zip wheels, which are really cool. We have the 404s this year for our race wheel, and then 353s for our training wheel. And then, of course, we've got SRAM for our Gruppos. So we've SRAM Red, ETAP. And then...
tires? Tires?
Oh, tires are Goodyear, which is under...
That's right.
Yeah.
They're pretty new. They're kind of new to the cycling. And
they're under Zip as well. The tires that we have are like a brand new race/endurance tire that we're currently using. They're coming out with our race tire now, but very tacky. It's kind of like a mix between like a Specialized tire and a Conti. So you've got the puncture proof of the Conti, but the more faster rolling of the Specialized tire.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a great tire all the way around. I've been running it for a couple months now, and I like it. So it's good.
All right, now I'm getting to the more fun questions. So, if Holly was the queen of all U.S. cycling, right?
Of all of it.
You're the queen. How are you going to grow the sport?
How would I grow it? Just probably have more events, more community events, getting people involved, whether it be boy, girl, male, female, whatever. Like, everybody should be enjoying a bike. Whether you know how to ride one or not, you can always learn. It's never too late to learn to ride a bike. But yeah, I mean, I just think getting people involved, getting cycling in America out there a bit more, because it's not really a big presence compared to like baseball or basketball or any of our other sports that we have. It would just be good to kind of mainstream it a bit more. Do potentially more fondos, or still have crits around here, but just have more of them.
Oh, I have a theory. I'm going to run this one by you.
Okay.
So you've been racing for a long time.
Yeah.
And back then I used to race with you. You remember the races were always sold out.
Correct.
Except for the women, but they were good fields though.
Still, bigger than what we have now.
Okay. So I think that one of the biggest things missing in local racing is kids races, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not necessarily just for the kid racing. Mm-hmm. It's because when you went there, because you remember, think about going to Ontario 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You'd have the kids race in the afternoon, but what that did, it brought the family there. Mm-hmm. So you remember you'd go to the race and people were there all day.
Yeah.
It was an event.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, even though it was Ontario, an industrial park, you would go down one section and you could get the whole Mexican group was there.
Yeah.
And you could get all the best food ever there. And
exactly.
then other teams would be all set up, but everyone would hang out. It wasn't like it was just like my team's here and my team,
Yeah.
You would race together, and that was it. Other than that, everyone hung out, and you'd hang out for the day. You would you would probably do the women's race and the pro race, and you'd hang out, watch your friends, and it was it was an event. And I think the kids race is not necessarily it's fun to have the kids and to help grow the junior racing, I think for sure. But I feel that if the kids are there, that means the mom has to come.
Correct.
If the mom's going to come, she's going to bring snacks.
Yeah.
If she's going to bring snacks, then maybe a few bears show up,
yeah.
maybe a barbecue. It was like, you remember how many times were there just gigantic food out for the whole day at local races? And I think that's kind of missing. And I don't know if bringing the kids racing back would do it, but I think that would help.
What I also think is what Europe does really well is so a kermesse is basically a circus. Mm-hmm. That's what it means, is a circus. And they build a bike race around items. Mm-hmm. So they have live music, they have beer gardens, they have food, they've got literally little circus things like the water gun games, and they've got the balloon dart things. And I mean, they have things for people just to come to that to do. let alone, and then they're buying drinks. They're going to stay and watch the races as the races are going around. And the more circuits that you have, the more they're going to stay and watch and buy items and food and things like that. So I think honestly, like if we can build something like that here and bring people to it, they're going to be more interested in the bike racing, and it's going to bring the community out to the actual event in itself.
Like Tulsa does.
Correct. Yeah. Tulsa does a fantastic job of it. Tour of Dairyland does a fantastic job of it. Chicago Grit does a fantastic job of it. Like, it seems like from mid to East Coast, they've got it nailed. But us on this side, it's like kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to get the place to do it.
Correct.
I mean, no city I know around here is going to let you go ride around their downtown.
No.
And then they're not going to let you sit there and drink beer on the sidewalk.
Not without a million different types of permits and things like that. So, I
mean, there was, the couple at the beach that were good, and they're gone. There was races that were kind of like that. They kind of were growing, but they run out of, money or the ability to do it because there's something happens where they don't want the road closed for that hour or two that these people have to get around it. It's a very interesting, that I think the course makes a big difference. And I think having everyone involved is a big deal. So I agree with you. I think that would make a big difference. How we're going to do that would be a whole nother story. I know, some people are trying to do races around cities and it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to.
Yeah. Bring the city out to it. I think, mainly, too, because it depends on the city. Certain cities are afraid that it's going to bring congestion, and sometimes the city doesn't necessarily want to be sought out. So we've definitely talked to people we've tried to put a race in a certain city, and it's just like, well, they didn't necessarily want it. Or there's a million different permits that you have to get. Police are $10,000. Permits are $10,000. So it's already 20, 30 grand to put on a bike race.
And there's not that much profit in a bike race, period. You lose money.
So it's sometimes, and then I think it just discourages people of trying to put on things like that if you don't necessarily get that help from the city or the community in general. So,
well, I think the last time San Dimas Stagers was put on, it was $90,000 to put on.
I believe it.
A 2-day Stagers because the uphill time trial was basically free. It was given.
Yeah, you just had to have certain permits, I think, for it. Yeah.
So that just gives you an idea. And there's no way that you can make money, and if you're not making money in the sport, people are like, this, it's going to go away. And that's why, some people are like, oh, you should do this for the fun of it. Everything there has to be some profit, some money made in places. That's how people get more involved in it. That's why people want to do it. Yeah. I want to sponsor cycling because you will come buy my product.
Correct. Yeah. Money makes the world go round, and it's kind of what you need to make cycling go round too.
Well, 100%. 100%.
Speaking on those kermesses, I've heard, I've never been there, but you've been over to Europe and you've raced some of those kermesses. Mm-hmm. I've heard that the old men in those towns, they bet on the local riders. So there's kermesses during the middle of the week.
Correct.
In the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And all the old men come out and it's literally like Vegas.
Yeah. It's like we're horses betting out there, and they're betting on different riders and this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's the same. Those guys have probably raced those kermesses I don't know how many times, and they still got their same cycling jerseys on. They're coming with their pockets in the front, and it's all knitted and everything. And it's incredible to see. And they probably still have the same cycling cap on from when they were racing it back in the 50s. But yeah, they do. They bet on local riders, and you see the money pool going around, and it's really fun. It's super fun.
That sounds like an awesome time.
Yeah.
It's a shame we can't have something like that here.
I got even with my son, they had 100. He raced a few of them when he went to he raced in Europe. It was amazing to watch the town come out on a Tuesday afternoon to watch junior racing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's crazy too, because most of the time you can ride down to the race. It's $5 to sign up. You get a transponder and a number, and as long as you give that transponder back, you get your $5 back. And if you don't get within the top 5, you don't make any money. But I think it's $150 for the win or whatever. But still, profit. Why not? $5 to go and race something super cool and just have a hot dog and a beer afterwards, and then ride back home. It's a solid day of training. Those races are probably one of the hardest races I've ever done. And it's just a local weekday kermesse.
Sounds pretty cool. So those kermesses, those midweek kermesses, for those that are local, everybody around here knows buds on Wednesday.
Yeah, that would be like our local kermesse.
That would be the local
100%.
kermesse.
Yeah.
Now, how much harder are those kermesses in Europe compared to buds?
10 times harder.
10 times harder. Oh my God.
Well, and so many people.
Yeah.
It's so many racers. It's so many.
So like buds would be like just just one single break of that kermesse. Like a kermesse fills up at 110 people. Like they have to cap it. And if you don't like ride there soon enough to sign up, like you're not getting in.
Oh, you just rode in for a beer that day.
Just rode in for a beer that day.
Which is not a bad thing. Yeah. Worst case scenario, you sit there and watch the race and have a beer, and of course do some maybe some wagering or whatever else thinks along the way. Let's switch gears to the cycling industry. You've been in it forever.
Yeah.
And you get to look at it from all different angles, being an employee of the best bike shop ever.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. So, cycle.
So what do you see in the industry right now? What are you seeing? I mean, you hear this doom and gloom, you hear this, you hear a lot of stuff, and I have a different opinion now because when I was in it, I look at it one way. Now I'm out of it, looking from the outside, I look at it completely different. I want to know what you see going on.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm still looking at it from a racer standpoint. So, I mean, things are definitely expensive, and we always want the best of the best gear and everything like that, and the coolest and latest and greatest. But, I mean, I think... Yeah, I mean, the industry is unfortunately kind of going up and down. And that's tidal waves. I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. But I think we're on the up again COVID was a huge up. Everybody and their brother wanted to ride a bike, and things were selling out, and shops were busy. And
it was a great time for us as a cyclist.
Yeah. Like, we had lines. I remember working like 50, 60-hour weeks and just being absolutely smoked by the time I got home. Like, driving home with the radio off just to be like... just want to sit in silence just because there were so many people coming in and out. But yeah, I mean, everybody and their brother wanted to ride a bike, and I think it's slowly coming back. There was definitely a kind of a drop after like 2 years, and then kind of dropped, but now I definitely think it's coming back up again.
Yeah, I feel there's areas that are coming back. I see the e-mountain bike is really picking up. It's
anything.
Anything. That's
it was just amazing, I think. I mean, some people really don't like the e-bikes, but I think I just picture my parents. Like, my dad's been a really hard construction worker his whole life. My mom's been a stay-home mom. And for them to be able to go and do the iconic Figueroa mountain loop, like, off the couch, so the motor helps them up and around, and they can have their lunch up at the top. Like, I think that's the coolest thing ever. Like, they're getting to experience what I get to experience on a normal bike. So I think
I agree. I think
things like that are amazing.
I think the E thing is great, and I think I see road doing well still. I think roads is still there. I think the places where the industry still needs help is the high-end mountain bike, analog bike. I think is dying, especially if you're longer travel. I can see that just might go away into just a niche thing soon.
Yeah.
And I got to talk about this. I love Specialized and Specialized product, but that $600 shoe.
It's crazy shoe.
It's a crazy. It looks nice.
I haven't seen it in person yet, so I don't know.
You went from $340 one year to $600 the next year.
Inflation.
Is that what it is? I know it's more tech, and they say you get 7 watts more, and I'll argue that, but we'll just go with that.
Everything I feel like is going up, though.
But the thing is, like, I ride CD, which is a $500-something shoe, so I guess it's not a big difference. But I do it more for I think I like the look and the comfort of it. What shoes you guys? What shoes are you guys on?
We're Giro.
Okay.
Giro shoes, Giro helmet. I actually really like them. They're super comfortable. They're mega ventilated, so like your foot can breathe, no matter what color what color they are. Because have you seen the black and white? Like, they shoot a temperature gun at the different shoes and different helmets. The black shoe holds like 15 more degrees, 20 more degrees than a white shoe.
And white shoes look better.
I don't know.
I get the white shoes and white socks. Man. I just got to do that.
But yeah, you have to do white shoe, white sock, black shoe, black sock. Like, you can't mix
Yes,
and
no, you
match.
can't. No way.
It just doesn't look good. But yeah.
I have my opinions on these, but that's a whole nother podcast I think we'll work on.
You're going to ask her what the glasses go. He asked his glasses.
Glasses, over or under?
Straps.
Over.
Yeah, over.
Okay,
yeah.
just making sure.
We had a question about that on a previous podcast once, and I thought this was settled a long time ago.
Well, that's like the same with leg warmers and socks. Socks over or under.
Oh, so, I'm a weirdo on this. So if it's cold but it's not raining, I'll go socks over
over legs.
Over
so
legs.
you're gonna stretch out your socks.
Yeah, I think it looks better.
It does not look better.
How does it look better?
It looks like a flash
now,
dance
if it's gonna rain, definitely under.
So it makes no sense at all.
No, that makes no sense.
All right. I'm odd man out.
100%.
Always leg warmers over socks, no matter what.
Okay.
Agreed.
Arm warmers always under.
Oh, 100%.
Always under. Unless you're caught in the middle of a race and you pull them down but not off, and you got to pull them back up, and then you can't mess with it at that point.
But apparently the pro move, as I've watched Danny Summerhill, he rolls them down to his wrists, and they look like arm weights. And same with his leg warmers, rolls them down as ankle weights.
And just leaves them on?
Just leaves them on.
Oh, man. That's crazy talk right there.
It works for him.
Yeah. Who am I?
He's a beast.
Yeah. Who am I to condemn him?
One more thing. What length cranks are you running?
165.
Are you? You made the switch.
I made the switch. I went from 170 to 165.
And what do you think?
For me, I like it. It took me a long time to get used to it. I think, it took me a while to get used to it because I felt like I could spin it faster, but I didn't have the leverage to push it. But what I was finding is with the 170s, when I was actually in my drops, my hip angle was getting cut off. And so I was actually rocking, but I couldn't move my seat up because then it'd be too high. The 165s ended up being the better fit as much as I didn't want to go to that trend. It's just a matter of how it works for you.
And do you have a fitter you use?
Me, myself, and I.
Are you your fitter?
I am my fitter, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I've had a couple fits before, and definitely shout out to Abe at InCycle. He's fitted me a couple times, and it's felt really nice. So I've just honestly carbon copied everything that he's done for me onto myself. But yeah, the last at least 3 or 4 years have been me, myself, and I.
I'm pretty much in I just
measure.
It's like,
this feels good. This feels good. All right, let's go.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
So if a young lady comes up to you and says, "Hey, I saw you at a race today. How do I get into this?"
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend? Where do you start her off? Or are there any pitfalls that you can steer her around right off the bat, or is it just one of those things where it's like, "Hey, you gotta learn the lumps and get over them"?
I think I would ask her first, like what her experience is and what she likes to do and what kind of direction that I can point her into. And then you kind of just go from there. Like if she says, "Oh, I love riding my bike. I do a local practice around our area," and it's like, great. Well, there's beginner races. You can get a single day license to try it out, so you don't have to invest a bunch of money into it. But yeah, just start there and do what you really like. Whether it be mountain biking, road, whatever. Like find your discipline. Like if you're new to cycling, go on local group rides first. Like let's bring you out to local group rides. Let's have you meet other people, see if you like the ride, see if you like to go hard on your road bike. And then you kind of just go from there.
All right, I got one more question.
Sure.
Please don't leave us hanging. You got to give us some crit beef. What's out there? What's happening?
All the crit beef. This year it really hasn't started off yet because we're still so new into the season. But last season there was, your typical like he said, she said, they did this, they did that type of thing. But
I know I haven't heard any of this shit. It has to be something.
I don't know.
No one's run anyone off the road. No one's talked shit on social media. No one's done anything.
Anything
that we've
brewing.
missed it.
There's got to be something
I try
brewing.
to fly under the radar of all that. I'm the wrong person to ask that question. I just race my bike, keep my head down, and go to the races.
Damn, that was not what we wanted.
Yeah.
You got shut out. I think she's holding out.
No, I know nothing. I promise.
You could text us later, and we'll say an anonymous source said.
This is what the crit beef is. No, there's pages for that. There is crit beef.
I always see it. It's kind of boring this year. That's why I'm hoping that there was something we know about.
I think because there was so much drama going on the previous years that like it just kind of mellowed out. Maybe there'll be something this year.
All right. Well, I'm going to thank you, Holly. Be our first guest. You're an awesome guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
This is great. Again, if you like what you've seen, follow, like,
subscribe,
comments. We'd love comments. Come on. I mean, Scott
Give me the gas.
messed up
I've been
Tade's
waiting.
name like a bunch of times last week, and I only got a couple direct messages. Tell us on there that Scott can't pronounce Tade's name.
And it's Matthew, not Matthew.
Chew.
That's right. See, thank you.
We just go with MVPD.
That's
easier.
Too many.
I think it's too many
Just
too.
Matthew.
I would mess them up halfway through. Again, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you on the ride.